Yes, welcome back. Welcome back to another episode of Quiet Storm Sports on the Purple Rain Podcast YouTube channel. Listen, more Baltimore Ravens news dropping, more news and narratives. We're covering it all here at PRP Quiet Storm Sports. Kyle Hamilton says he's not done mastering this Jesse Minter defense. Some even saying that he wants to get his masters in. He wants to get his masters in the Jesse Minter defense. Lots of cool stuff to get into here on this episode of Quiet Storm Sports. Before we do, please be sure, as always, guys, like this video. And if you're part of the replay gang, special shout out to you as well. Please be sure to not only like this video, but hype this video. We'd appreciate that. And listen, guys, we're 13 subscribers away from 7,000 subscribers. And when we get to 7K, I'm thinking about doing, well, no, it's confirmed. Okay. I'm putting it out here right now. 7K giveaway. Okay, it's happening. It's happening. So when we get to 7K, we will be doing another giveaway on the channel. So that should be very, very soon. Hopefully we get the sub. So if you're watching, you haven't subbed yet, go ahead and hit that subscribe button because we will be doing a channel giveaway for our members, of course, always for the members. We have our, actually, you know what? Clap it up for the members of the channel really quick. Clap it up for the members of the channel. Some of you in the chat right now, shout out to you guys because you guys know the giveaways are only exclusively for the members, right? So if you want a chance to win, of course, join our channel membership as well. First Quiet Storm Sports of the week. How you guys doing? Yeah, here we go. You see it in the chat, my Dak Prescott impersonation. Was that good? Dylan, what up? Member in the chat. Shelly Shell, another member in the chat. New moderator as well, Shelly Shell. Shout out to you. Thank you. JR, another member in the chat. What's going on? What's going on? What up? What up? What up? Dylan Bauer, another member in the chat. And Dylan, we're just getting started, my brother. We're just getting started. We just kicked off 2 minutes ago. So you are right on time, man. Ash Maria, another member in the chat. What up? What up? What up? Okay. All right. So we got some business to handle. We got some business, some things to tend to when it comes to our beloved Baltimore Ravens, right? So let's just go ahead and get into it, right? Let's just go ahead and hop into it. First and foremost, I do want to start with this. I just saw this video like 2 minutes ago before I went live. RASHOD Bateman in New York City. Let's take a look. Ooh, can't play the copyright music. But my man RASHOD Bateman looking fly though. Looking fly. Not gonna lie. I mean, tell me he ain't fresh though. I dare one of y'all in the chat say something negative about Bateman. Because I promise you, guess what? You'll be going in the book. You'll be going in the book. Promise you. I just want to start the episode with that. Replay gang, y'all too. Y'all too. If you got anything negative to say about my boy Bate in New York. And I know I was kind of taken aback by it last week, but I had some time to think, especially once I saw Lamar out there. You know, I had to take a step back real quick. I'm not going to let y'all do this to Bateman. We're not doing the slander, not here at PRP. You guys know what it is. Johnny Hewitt in the building says Texas Flock Gang. What's going on, Johnny? Appreciate you for coming through as well. Yes, sir. That's right. Texas Flock Gang in the house. In the house. Dylan says he looks terrible. Come on, bro. Come on, bro. Dylan, you already in the book. The fit is ass. Come on, bro. Stop. No way. No way. Coney says, my dog, I just want bro to lock in with Lamar, though. Yeah, I mean, that's true. I feel like we might be seeing some don't be surprised, because we got 6 weeks of these guys, they're going to be off. But guess what? They're still going to be working. Nobody's going to want to go into training camp just getting ramped up, right? They're still going to be doing things in this off season that they have here. Because, again, like I was telling Alex yesterday, this is the true off season for these players, these 6 weeks. So I think over the course of these next 6 weeks, you're going to see Lamar Jackson linking up with Zay Flowers. Hell, they're probably doing that right now as we speak in Florida, and, you know, kind of getting some practice in, building some chemistry, and kind of getting ramped up before the season, right? And I do fully expect RASHOD Bateman to be there. I do. I'd be willing to bet some money on it that RASHOD Bateman will be present. He will be present when Lamar Jackson and company. You might even see Jacoby Lane down there. Because you know they're going to post photos, right? Maybe even a video or two. Never know. But just saying, it's possible. It is possible. So be on the lookout for that. He definitely needs to lock in with Lamar, though, for sure. Shout out to the live chat. Bait going for 1K this year. Dylan, my boy. What's going on, Dylan? 1K? That's a lot. That's a lot of yards. See, my thing is this. Like, I've always said Zay Flowers is going to be the one who gets the most yardage on this team. I think consistently he's just kind of like a road runner almost, right? Like, he eats up yardage. He eats up field. I wish he ate up more by running straight, but that's another story for another day. Problem is, he just doesn't get in the end zone all that much. I mean, Zay Flowers even acknowledged it on a podcast a couple of weeks ago, saying that, like, Lamar, and the Ravens, they like to go to those bigger bodies when they get to the red zone. So if Zay Flowers isn't making a big explosive play, either in Ravens, while with the play starting on the Ravens side of the field, or even in plus territory, if he doesn't make a big play and make it all the way to the end zone, then he's probably not scoring touchdowns because he's not really getting looks in the red zone like that, unless they throw it to him on a wide receiver screen, which those really do nothing, So I don't think that Bateman is going to be able to get 1,000 yards just because there's not going to be enough room, right? There's not going to be enough volume for him to get the 1,000 yards. That'll definitely be Zay. But I put on Twitter earlier today, I think Rashad Bateman can go for 8 touchdowns this year. I do. I think 8 plus touchdowns is very, very realistic for Rashad Bateman in this 2026 Ravens Declan Doyle-led offense. Again, guys, like this video. Please be sure to like this video. Hype this video if you're part of the replay gang. Super Bowl this year, says Eugene. That's right, brother. That's right. Super Bowl this year. I think it's Super Bowl or bust. Been very vocal about that. I think it's Super Bowl or bust this year. So, but listen, guys, there were a couple things that we needed to address here on this episode. Like I put in the thumbnail, not done yet. Okay, not done yet, because Kyle Hamilton wants to get his master's degree in Jesse Minter's defense. Now, why is this news? Why is this news? The fact of the matter is, it's really not. This is not breaking information or anything of the sort. Really what it is us diving deep into exactly what Kyle Hamilton being plugged into a Jesse Minter defense may look like. And so today, what we're going to do here on this episode is together, you and I, we're going to go through all of the reasons why Kyle Hamilton is the perfect, and I mean the perfect fit for this Jesse Minter defense, and why Kyle Hemington gaining mastery over this Jesse Minter defense is going to be the catalyst in what ultimately catapults the Ravens to a Super Bowl. That's what I believe. So what I want to bring up here on screen, and by the way, guys, again, like the video, I'm going to bring up here on screen this article that was posted by Ryan Mink of the Ravens. We're going to go through this, and then we're going to break down exactly why Kyle Hamilton in the Jesse Minter scheme just works, okay? So I'm going to read through this with you guys. Audio listeners, stick with me here. Kyle Hamilton wanting to master this Ravens defense. Here we go. There's seemingly no defensive position that Kyle Hamilton can't play. Last season, he logged 355 snaps as a box safety / linebacker, 298 as a slot corner, 164 as an outside backer, 162 as a free safety, and 24 snaps as a wide cornerback, right? Hamilton's versatility has been his calling card, but he doesn't want it to hold him back going forward. He says, and I quote, "I don't want to be a jack of all trades and a master of none, and I feel like I haven't mastered anything right now," Hamilton said during Ravens minicamp. In other words, Hamilton wants to get his masters in new head coach Jesse Minter's defense. Okay, bravo, Ryan Mink, on coming up with that one. He doesn't have to be confined to one position, and he almost certainly will not be. But after a season in which his splash plays dropped somewhat compared to previous years, Hamilton wants to be more impactful across the board. And real quick, chat, this is something that I actually didn't know. I was not tracking this until I read this information here, and it kind of makes sense, and it really, really grinds my gears. It really, really grinds my gears that we wasted, and I'm going to use the word wasted 2 years of Kyle Hamilton's youth in a Zach Orr defense. Okay, that is a unicorn. That is a unicorn. I need somebody who knows how to handle that. Somebody who knows exactly what to do with that. Because let me keep reading here, because this is where it gets unacceptable for me. Okay. It says Hamilton went from having 4 interceptions in 2023 to just 1 in 2024 and 0 last season. Man, just the decline. It doesn't make any sense. It doesn't make any sense for him to be such a talented player and still getting all pro during those years, because the rest of the league just kind of realizes, even if Kyle Hamilton's not getting all the stats, if he's not stuffing the stat sheet, he's still one of the best safeties in the league. That's why he is the second highest paid safety in the league, only behind Derwin James. And the only reason why Derwin James makes more than Kyle Hamilton is because he signed after Kyle Hamilton. Okay. We do have a super chat donation. Let me go ahead and take a quick little break here and pull this one up on screen. Dylan Bauer says, who do you love more, your girl or Bate? Be honest. Come on, man. My girl, all day, every day, and twice on Sundays. Yeah, I mean, thank you for your super chat donation, bro. I'm being honest with you. I will say this though. Come season time, I'm gonna need some apologies lined up. Dylan, you're on the list. You're on the list. You're in the book. For anybody who wants to be slanderous of Bateman again, let me know, preferably in the comment section so I can get to it after the show. Okay. By the way, 75 people watching live right now. Shout out to all of you guys. Shout out to the replay gang, live chat, audio listeners as well. Welcome in. It's the Purple Rain Podcast, Quiet Storm Sports. I'm your host, Sudden Death. Let's continue with this Kyle Hamilton article, though. Okay. Okay, so let me see here. So I mentioned how Hamilton went from having the 4 interceptions in 23 to 1 in 24 and 0 last season. Damn, Kyle Hamilton didn't have no picks last season? Why did I not remember that? It's a shame. Criminal. Nefarious actions by Zach Orr. Sack totals have dropped each of the past couple seasons as well, falling to 1 last year. After notching 13 passes defense in 23, he broke up 9 passes each of the past 2 years. Okay, moving on from that. He says, I think it's not a matter of doing a ton of different stuff, Kyle Hamilton says. It's just getting better at everything that I have been doing. I feel like I've got a long way to go to be where I feel like I can be as a player. Now, here's where Ryan Mink starts to make a whole lot of sense. If Hamilton still has a quote-unquote long way to go in his development, his ceiling is beyond M&T Bank Stadium upper deck. That's what it says here. That's true. That's true. Because despite the dip in stats, Hamilton was still recognized as an all-pro each of the past 3 years. He made the first team in 23 and 25. So you see, again, even though the stats were like low-key on the decline for Kyle Hamilton, the rest of the league still just recognized him as one of the best safeties in the league. It's just like you guys have a BS defensive coordinator who, you probably need to move on from. But John, according to good old John Harbaugh, wanted to run it back. He didn't see nothing wrong. He didn't see nothing wrong at all. Man, crazy stuff. All right, let's continue here real quick. Shout out to the live chat. We see Afia in the live chat as well. What's going on? Member of the channel. Asmodeus, another member and moderator on the channel, in the house as well. Black Daniel's another moderator. The Moz is out today. The Moz is out today. Okay, the Moz is out today. Y'all better not be acting up. Sometimes y'all be acting up in the live chat, but we got the Moz in here today. Okay. Yeah, Zach Orr was a terrorist for sure. Bateman 950 yards. That would be beautiful, brother. Beautiful. All right, continuing on this Kyle Hamilton. So we talked about him being highest paid safety until Derwin James came in and became highest paid safety by $100,000 more than Kyle Hamilton. Petty, I know. That's just how this league goes, though. Derwin James had a resurgence over the past couple of years in Minter's defense, with the Chargers tallying career highs in sacks, 5.5 in 2024, and interceptions with 3 in 2025. Minter knows how to get the best out of elite safeties. Minter was last in Baltimore as the Ravens DB's coach for the 2020 season. Hamilton was drafted 2 years later. They've only spent a couple of months together so far, but Minter has been quite impressed. Minter said, and I quote, Kyle is incredible. The things he's able to do, I think he's very, very unique. He's a one-of-one player in this league with the things that he's able to do, the things he's able to be elite at. He's such a joy to work with. The way he sees the game, he's extremely smart. He's extremely cerebral. He wants to understand why we're doing things, right? He anticipates plays based on looks, formations, and sets. It's great to have a guy like that. He's a guy that you could put him in one spot and he could be the best in the league, put him in another spot, and he could still be the best in the league. So far, what Hamilton likes about Minter's tweaked Ravens defense is that there's no gray area. Okay. And just pause really quick right there. We get back to the nefarious actions of Zach Orr. So many plays last year, right, where there was miscommunication and guys just didn't. I mean, they were running around out there like chickens with their heads cut off. Literally, at times look like little leaguers, just reacting to stuff that's happening. No authority on defense, no cohesiveness on defense. It was bad. It was bad. But yeah, let me see. No gray area. It's about everyone acing their alignment and assignments pre-snap, then communicating any changes and being connected is on the defensive meeting room's wall. See, and this is what is important. Because like I said before, in 2025, the Ravens defense was very disconnected. Very disconnected. Okay? So, again, man, I just think that bringing in this Jesse Minter, you are going to see a lot more out of Kyle Hamilton than what we've seen in the past. And I'm going to get into that a little bit more in depth in just a minute here. But I do want to remind everybody, this is actually a call-in show. This is a call-in show here. So you can call into the show if you are a member. Members only, of course. Let me go ahead and throw this up on screen for you guys. And we actually have a member sitting backstage, ready to come on up. By the way, if you are a member and you want to join the show, all you have to do is go to our channel, the Purple Rain Podcast YouTube channel, click on the posts tab, right? And you should be able to find a link there. It's only visible to members of the channel. So if you want to go ahead and call in, let me know how you're feeling, get it off your chest about these Ravens, go ahead and do so. Again, we're going to get back to the Kyle Hamilton stuff here in just a moment. But for now, let me go ahead and bring in our guest. Let me see who we've got backstage here. Let me see who we've got. At the end of the bar. What up? Who's this?
What's up, son? This is Asmodeus.
Hey, what's going on, Asmodeus? Appreciate you for coming through.
What's up,
How you doing, man?
I'm doing pretty good. How you doing?
I'm good, man. You got to get through these 6 weeks. You know what I'm saying? 6 weeks, and then we're right back in training camp. We're hopping into that, and then it's full speed ahead to the season, man. So I'm just kind of grinding, chugging along through this off season, man. So, but
it's true, but I mean, the World Cup is definitely helping out.
You said the what? Oh, the World Cup, definitely. You know, I meant to go because I missed the France game earlier today. I don't know who won, but I'm gonna go back afterwards and watch the highlights of that game because I really want to see Kylian Mbappe and see if he did.
And I think Argentina's playing tonight.
Ooh, nice. I'll definitely have to check that one out too. Definitely got to check that one out. But Asmodeus, about these Ravens, man, how are you feeling? Like, I haven't talked to you in a minute. I mean, I'm talking about this whole Kyle Hamilton stuff right now and how he's going to be the perfect fit for this Jesse Minter defense and how I think that's going to be really like the cog in the machine that makes this defense a well-oiled machine and basically a top 3 unit. That's just my opinion. But again, you don't have to go there. Wherever you want to go with the Ravens, man, how you feeling?
Oh, I mean, we can definitely go there for to start with. But I mean, I would say I absolutely agree. I mean, if you consider what Jesse Minter did with a potential, quote unquote, declining Derwin James and how he ended up making him. I forgot what they ranked him last year, but he was one of the top 3 or top 5 safeties in the league. After not doing that for a very long time, so I mean, if you just imagine what he did with the Derwin James, with honestly a weaker defense, imagine what he can do, especially if we bring if Matabike comes back. How much damage could Hamilton have? I mean, he could have. You mentioned that he's been an All-Pro twice out of the past 3 years. I mean, that's cool and all, but I mean, he could. This may be a hot take, but he could be Defensive Player of the Year next year with this season.
Not a hot take at all. I mean, because I just think that with the way that Jesse Minter loves to call his defense, disguising coverage, rotating late, closer to the snap and things like that, you're going to have so much confusion. And you couple that with the fact that the Ravens don't have a very tough schedule this year. They just don't. I think that you're gonna be able to see. And actually, you know what? Let me go ahead and list out. Let me go ahead and let the chat know something really quick. With how complex Jesse Minter's defense is and the level of talent, I mean, Kyle Hamilton aside, you've got edge rushers now, premier edge Trey Hendrickson, you've got interior D linemen, you've got really talented outside corners, and of course, Kyle Hamilton is what this conversation is kind of surrounding around. Um, all those tools are going to be you're basically at Jesse Minter's disposal to make this defense truly, I guess you could say, I don't want to say impenetrable, but I'll say very, very difficult to figure out. And by the way, here are the first 7 quarterbacks that the Ravens play in the 2026 season. Week 1, Daniel Jones. Week 2, Tyler Shuck. Week 3, Dak Prescott. Week 4, Cam Ward. Week 5, Michael Penix Jr. Week 6, Shador Sanders. Week 7, Joe Burrow. Right? Now, a lot of those names on that list, I'm looking at especially a Tyler Shuck, a Cam Ward, a Michael Penix Jr., a Shador Sanders, hell, even a Daniel Jones to an extent. Jesse Minter's defense should be able, with all these tools in the toolbox, should be able to stifle a lot of those teams, right? Do you agree with that?
You know, I agree that that's a very easy take to make. I think that this may be one of those games when we played the Bengals where they don't score a damn point.
Hmm.
It may be a field goal game for them. I mean, the impact that Justin Minter is going to have on his defense is going to be tremendous. And then you have to consider that we also have Anthony Weaver.
Yeah.
But I mean, the fact of the matter is, you know, for the, not to be direct, I mean, the Chiefs have had our number for the longest time. Which coach destroyed, and has a winning record against the Chiefs? Jesse Minter. He's done the same thing with I want to say it was the Pittsburgh Steelers last year, where he utterly destroyed them.
Yeah, I mean,
You
Aaron
know,
Rodgers went 16 for 31, had 1 touchdown to 2 interceptions. He was basically in jail the entire game.
yeah.
Yeah.
And so I mean, like Jesse Minter is he is in a lot of ways Mike McDonald. The only thing that I have not quite seen from him yet, and only time can tell, is Mike McDonald to me had a tremendous ability to vastly improve year over year. I haven't quite seen that in Jesse Minter's career yet, but I mean, from a schematic standpoint, from a play calling standpoint on defense and everything else, I mean, he's essentially, he's of that same vein. Like he's 1A, 1B, debatable who's 1A and 1B, but I mean, with that in mind, and then you add in, not to be a rose, purple colored glasses, but when you add in someone who's viewed as a offensive savant
Yeah.
in Declan, I mean, I know a lot of people when we were first going into the coaching cycle, offensive coordinator, whatnot. They were talking about Nate Shieldhouse. I think we essentially got that, but not under the McVay tree, instead under the Ben Johnson slash Sean Payton tree, which I think is something to be very excited about. I think a lot of fans are at this point really excited about it. But there's a lot of excitement to be had for sure. One thing I wanted to talk about, because I mean I had a
Mhm.
I know we're kind of in the dead of the off season.
Mhm.
I don't anticipate us making any other moves. I mean, we may get a player here and there, but I just don't see anything happening. I don't know if there's anybody in the market that's going to be worth taking in that we're not going to, to be honest, I don't know if there's anybody that EDC would want to take a risk on that won't cause a headache during the season. I mean, I know
Stephon
they brought in
Diggs.
that one guy, I can't remember his name, who was a wide receiver who, when Bateman went down, refused to go into the game. I mean, I don't think he
Oh,
wants that
Deontay
again.
Johnson.
That guy.
Yeah.
I don't even remember what the hell his name is. He's so irrelevant to me. But like, I don't know if he wants to bring in a Diggs, 'cause I wonder if he has that kind of perception of him. It may be completely wrong, and Diggs may be, the perfect team player, but I mean,
I mean,
outside optics doesn't
apparently,
quite look at it, you know?
according to Pats fans, I know I'm friends with a Pats fan who follows that team and makes content about them. they said that Stephon Diggs, there were no concerns about like locker room, stuff, and he was a great leader to some of the younger guys in that wide receiver room. So maybe we just all have Stephon Diggs wrong. I don't know, but either way, for me, I mean, and I see people kind of arguing me down in the comment section about this all the time, telling me this take is off, it's wrong. I don't want Stephon Diggs. I would prefer DeAndre Hopkins, but it's like, why would you not prefer D Hop over Stephon Diggs? I get it, 1,000-yard season last year. That's cool. Well, helped the team get to the Super Bowl last year. Great, love it. Didn't have a great playoffs at all, by the way. Neither did Drake May for that matter. But you get my point. I just think that having a D Hop provides you with that continuity because he's already familiar with the locker room. He's familiar with a lot of those guys. So it's just that's it. That's it for me when it comes to why I don't want Stephon Diggs and I would prefer D Hop because
I
he was
mean,
reliable.
I get what you're saying. I do get what you're saying, but I think from a schematic standpoint, I actually think I think a Diggs makes more sense. I mean, you could say that you get that in Bateman, but then I mean, I am one amongst many who say I'm not sure what we're gonna get out of Bateman. I mean, the I agree with you. He has all the physical traits that's needed. I have severe questions about does he have it in the mental department, because I see him, when he stop on routes and when you're blaming the sun on that. I mean, like, I get it, but it's an excuse. I mean, you gotta take it on the chin and move on, but that's not quite the stuff that you should be saying.
Yeah,
Like, I think if he had his head in the game, he can be as good as any wide receiver in the league. I agree with you on that. It's just that mental is 70% of the game. I don't know if he has that there. So that's the reason why I have the opinions that I do. I understand why you have the opinions that you do. It's nothing that, nothing personal. It's just,
of course.
it's just interpretations of, like, the nuances of the game. I mean, it's such a game of inches. If you don't have it there, that can. I've seen, going to UFC, I've seen amazing fighters who are scared mentally and they get their ass kicked because of it, and they shouldn't have.
Yeah, that definitely happens. Now, I mean, yeah, I get it. You have your opinions on them, and I do as well. Yeah, I have mine. I see a lot of people in the chat saying that Diggs would be the better option, and maybe he is, but I just think that on a run first football team that has two pass catchers who have proven to be uh more than viable enough to help the Ravens get down the field and get in the end zone. And those two pass catchers are Zay Flowers and Mark Andrews. However you feel about Mark Andrews and his recent production and the playoff production and things like that, the fact of the matter is, normally in the regular season, he shows up for Lamar. So you couple having like being a run first team and then also having two solid pass catchers with a ton of young, promising talent. I just don't think we honestly need an extra wide receiver at all. Some people say, like, I mean, I know my guy Cordell, who was on the show last week, was saying, he thinks that the Ravens need to add an extra piece, whatever, but I just don't see that. I don't see that. I mean, I just think that with the nature of this offense is not necessary. It's really not.
Yeah, I mean, from my perspective, I would say the only reason why I'm even bringing it up in the first place is because I think we had the cap space to be able to bring somebody on, and you know, if you're gonna bring somebody on, you might as well bring the most impactful player that you can bring in. I mean, I know a lot of us, me included, really want to have a center. There's no center that's available on the market. I don't even like Bradbury because Bradbury was traded by New England because of the way that he played in the Super Bowl. Um, they were okay moving on from him with the way that that O line played, and then my pulse on the team is telling me that they're not gonna get a center right now. They're gonna go either with Gwynn or
Or
Pinter, and
Pinter.
they're gonna ride about 3 weeks into the season and see how it goes. If it is an absolute shit show, or if it's below average, even, I would say at that point you're gonna enter Ethan Pochik from formerly from Cleveland Browns, recovering from a Achilles back in early December, which is a typical 9 month recovery time span. That projects him to be ready back in honestly in August. So we'll find out if that's going to be coming into fruition. Honestly, about 2 months from now,
Yeah.
but that's what the tea leaves are telling me. I don't see anybody else
And,
remotely close available on the market that's going to be worth it.
and you know what? Interestingly enough, right now, I don't know if you can see what I've pulled up on screen here, but this is PFF, Pro Football Focus. They have Danny Pinter as the starting center for the Ravens. Again, you could take that with a grain of salt, whatever, but it really does feel like they're going to rock out with either Pinter or Gwynn. They both kind of have their claim to the job in a way. Because the Ravens signed Danny Pinter this offseason as a free agent, and they also got Gwynn, but Gwynn was not Declan Doyle, but Dwayne Ledford's boy in Atlanta, so he's kind of got some favor as well. But just interesting here, they also have Venga Ioane lined up at left guard. A lot of people thought the consensus was he would be at right guard, and you'd have Simpson at left. So we still have a lot to learn about this Ravens team. We definitely do. I'm gonna go back to Kyle Hamilton here. Esmo, did you have anything else for us?
Um, I'm curious, what are you going to go back to on Kyle Hamilton with?
Yeah, so what I wanted to do is I wanted to break down exactly how, in terms of like schematically, I was reading some articles earlier today, like schematically, why Kyle Hamilton specifically is the perfect fit for a Jesse Minter led defense, right? So I had some things pulled up I wanted to kind of read through with the chat and kind of get everybody's opinion on. But basically, I mean, kind of goes hand in hand with what we were talking about to begin this conversation between me and you, was that, you know, Jesse Minter, the type of defense that he likes to play, lots of disguises, like lots of late rolling down towards the box, or vice versa, things like that. Kyle Hamilton being able to, basically be plugged in at any given spot on the defense, mugged up, next to an edge rusher, or maybe 10, 15 yards away from the line of scrimmage alongside of Malachi Starks, or maybe right there in the box, or in the slot, wherever. You heard, the amount of snap alignments that he took this past season. He's extremely versatile. And I think that having a safety that's actually better than Derwin James, because Derwin James is right behind Kyle Hamilton. Don't get me wrong, but Kyle Hamilton is definitely better in my estimation. I think that that's going to be huge for Jesse Minter in his first year with this Ravens defense.
And I'm gonna start the call with this one.
Okay.
I'm gonna make this hot take. I think Kyle Hamilton is gonna have 5 sacks, 5 forced fumbles, fumble recoveries, 5 interceptions this year.
5 forced fumbles. I mean, you had me 5 sacks. I was like, okay, I could see that for sure. But 5 forced fumbles is a lot. I'd probably give him 2, 3 at the most. I mean, you make a decent point, because remember, like I said before, there's going to be a lot of young quarterbacks the Ravens play to start the season. Quarterbacks, who are trying to get into a rhythm themselves, right? And you're going to have Jesse Minter with all of these Ferraris on defense that he's going to be throwing at you every single play. And it's just, yeah, it's going to be tough. So I can definitely see some sacks early on in the season. Maybe so. Well, I definitely see a lot of TFLs as well. A lot of TFLs in general. But it's not a bad take, man. Not a bad take. I just don't know about the 5 forced fumbles. That's a little crazy. You said 5 interceptions too, right?
Yeah, I said 5 interceptions.
5 picks is tough for me, only because I feel like he's going to spend a lot more
Oh,
time.
and one other thing, I think he's gonna have two pick sixes.
Oh my goodness! All right, you're
He's,
shooting for the stars here. I love it. I
no,
love it,
I'm
Asmodeus.
not.
I
I'm not
really
shooting
do.
for the stars. I think when you consider what Kyle Hamilton has had since he was a rookie, and you finally give him a competent defensive coach again after Mike McDonald, and you saw him as a rookie. I think that based on the fact that we have Jesse Minter for the long run, Kyle Hamilton's going to have a Hall of Fame type of season for the rest of his career.
Mm, mm.
That's what I'm saying.
And you know what? I feel like it would probably take a year, right? For him to, because like the whole theme of it is like mastering this defense. I think it's gonna take him some repetition, some games and experiences being coached underneath Jesse Minter in real time, game experiences and things like that, for him to kind of understand better what he needs to do in that Jesse Minter-led defense. And I think that maybe it could take a couple of games, a couple of months, maybe it takes a season, but you're right. I think it is only up from here. I just think that, that stat line is extremely lofty, especially considering the fact that teams are going to purposely try to go away from Kyle Hamilton. So it's going to be hard for him to get, that the stuff, the stat sheet like that on the season, but I damn sure hope he does. I hope you're
In the
right and I'm
past,
wrong.
it was, but I mean, we have Trey Hendrickson now, and along with a lot of other defensive players, and I would say I give it by game five. Same way as the rookie season, it's going to be game five, and then it's going to be lights out.
Yeah, I would probably bet on Trey Hendrickson having 15 sacks, 15 plus sacks before I would bet on Kyle Hamilton having 5 interceptions.
Oh, I think Trey Hendrickson's going to have 20.
Ooh,
I think he's going to have 20
this
because
is
the
why I
thing
love you,
is that
Asmodeus.
the thing I don't even think I'm crazy when I say this. I mean, when you consider the fact that Trey Hendrickson has 17 and a half on the Bengals, he was the
Yeah,
only good defensive player on the Bengals. Now you have you have a Zion Young, you have a Trey Hendrickson. Oh, I mean, he is Trey Hendrickson. You have Carl Hamilton. Um, and then you have, Nate Wiggins was really good until he was in Zach Orr's system. You have a Malachi Starks, who I think Malachi Starks is going to get 5 interceptions this year. This is going to be reminiscent of the Ravens defense in 23 when it was a triple crown. I 1000%. I would put money on that.
I mean, hey, listen, man. I think it's totally on the table. It's totally possible. I'm trying to temper my expectations for a first year Jesse Minter led team. Just overall, not even just with the defense, but like just overall, right? Because I feel I don't want to be that Ravens fan who, hypes us up all season long and has on the purple shades and things like that. I'm not trying to say that you have on the purple shades, but like, because I totally agree. I think that those numbers are definitely attainable for those guys, but it's just going to be tough because at the end of the day, man, Asmodeus, you have 31 other teams in this league and they all get paid too. All those fan bases are feeling damn good about their off seasons too. The Ravens aren't going to win every game. It's going to be some struggle. Uh, but I'm hoping that you're right, man. I'm just trying to be a little bit more grounded. You know what I'm saying, man?
Yeah, I think it's more for me. It's probably more of an indictment on John Harbaugh and Jack Orr than anything else.
That's fair. That's fair. And that's why I'm going to be so interested to see what the Giants do this year. You know what I mean? I mean, they got a young ascending seemingly quarterback. They've got a young running back. They've got young talent at wide receiver as well. Like I'm going to be watching them with the closest eye. You know what I'm saying? Because I want to
I'm gonna
know what it
I'm gonna have
was.
the biggest smile on my face when New York exposes John Harbaugh for who he truly is, because that's what's gonna happen against them.
Well, you get him in primetime week 1. You get him in
Yeah,
primetime week 1, I believe, against the Cowboys, if I'm not mistaken.
and you know what's
So
gonna happen?
what's that?
A fourth quarter collapse.
Mm, I could see it. Giants go into the fourth quarter with a nice 10-point lead, right? Think they're doing something, you know what I mean?
And you
But
know
then you
why?
get,
You know why I feel that way? Because you're playing against the Cowboys offense. That's not an offense to fuck around with.
oh no, it's not even about the Cowboys offense for me. It's about the Cowboys defense, right? I'm looking at Caleb Downs, their young safety. I'm looking at Quinnen Williams pushing the pile from the middle, right? And putting that pile in and putting that pocket in Jackson Dart's lap and not allowing Cam Scatterboo to average over 2-3 yards a carry. I'm looking at that defense, man. That
Oh, they
defense
also
is
got
looking
Caleb Downs,
really
who I
good.
think is
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Yeah.
yeah,
He's tough. So,
it's gonna be
but of
fun to
course,
watch.
the offense is lethal too. Pickens and CD. What did they do for running back? Because they got rid of Dowdle.
I think they actually drafted a running back in this. I want to say third. I ain't
Okay.
tripping. I mean, I might be tripping. I think it's Singleton. I think I'm tripping though.
Okay. Third round. I mean, not third round. Week 3. It'll be very interesting to see what they have to offer our Ravens in Brazil, right? But all right. Asmodeus, I appreciate you for coming through so much, brother. As always, can't wait for the next member call-in show because I know you're gonna call in and give me your hot takes, man. So I appreciate you, brother, and I'll see you around.
Yep, appreciate it. You have a good one.
All right, bro. You too. Peace. All right, that's my guy Asmodeus Donatos in the chat, a member here, a Purple Rain pioneer, been around for a very, very long time. Shout out to him. Always love hearing his takes and opinions. Okay. Again, guys, 92 people watching live right now. Please be sure, don't forget, like the video, guys. Like the video. Subscribe if you are new as well. We're about 13 subs away from 7K. And guess what happens when we get to 7K? That's right. We're doing a 7K giveaway. You guys know how we do here at PRP. You guys know we love to give stuff away. That's what we do. That's what we do. It's always the season of giving. Can't wait till Christmas, by the way. Can't wait till Christmas. We're going to have a great Christmas here at PRP. I know that's a whiles away, but just saying. Make sure you stay locked in with the fam here. Okay. Before we get back to some more deep dives on Kyle Hamilton, Dylan Bauer says in the chat here, one of our members, shout out to Dylan, says, not gonna lie, Derek might become the best player on this team. He might run for 3,000 yards and 25 plus touchdowns. The man is built like Aaron Donald, and he's still in his prime. I wouldn't say that Henry is still in his prime. I think that if he is still in his prime, he's at the tail end of his prime, you know. And even that's kind of like a stretch to say, because I mean, the man behind a terrible, god-awful offensive line last year still had the second most rushing yards in the league. So that's why I say I think I can agree with you. He's still in his prime, but I think he's towards the end of it. He's on the back end of it, right? The back nine. 25 plus touchdowns is crazy though. I can definitely see him having a good. Ooh, how many touchdowns for Derrick Henry this year? Because here's the thing. I do feel like this Ravens offense, much like it was mentioned last week by right tackle Roger Rosengarten, the calling card of this offense is going to be explosiveness. And since I do believe that, I think that's going to lead to less punch-in touchdowns by Derrick Henry. You know what I mean? Like when we get into the red zone, and then we let's say we go from the 15, and then we get to the 4, and then we get to the 1, and then we punch it in with Derrick Henry. I feel like there's going to be less of those, because you're going to see a lot more explosive over-the-top plays that, in turn don't require Derrick Henry to do all that. So to be that battering ram on the goal line, I think there's going to be less of that. Going back to this Kyle Hamilton stuff here, I want to talk about a little bit more in detail off this article, and I won't pull it back up on screen. I'll just read it with you guys. In detail, what it would mean for Kyle Hamilton to master this Jesse Minter defense. So, based off what we were saying earlier, all of these snaps that Kyle Hamilton played, he played 355 snaps in the box, 298 in the slot, 164 as an outside backer, 162 as a free safety, 24 snaps at outside cornerback, right? That means approximately 81.5% of his listed snaps came from the box, slot, or outside linebacker area. So he was already functioning more like a defensive position group than a single player, right? And that's what's so dangerous about having a Kyle Hamilton, having a guy who literally is, like I told one of our guests last week, he's like that Joker card where you just never know what he's going to do, where he's going to pop out at, right? I saw Tanja say in the chat earlier, they move him all around the field. It's going to be super confusing to even know where the pressure is coming from. Because you're going to see a lot of times Kyle Hamilton's lining up next to an edge rusher, right? And maybe Kyle Hamilton is going to actually blitz, and that edge rusher drops back in the coverage, right? So while you're thinking, oh, let me throw to where I'm hot, throw into that void since Kyle Hamilton's blitzing me, then you're going to have Mike Green, who, he might have to drop out in the coverage. You're gonna see a lot of different looks. As much as we might hate it, you might see Trey Hendrickson dropping back for the one time. You might see Tavius drop. There's just gonna be so many different things that we see in this defense, right? And it's all going to work a lot better because of, I think, the interior D line. Having Calais Campbell back means everything. And I don't mean to go off too far on a tangent, but like I always say, inside out, guys. Game of football is played inside out. Right. So all of those pressure looks on the edge and things like that, if the interior of the pocket's being pushed by Jones, BK, if he comes back, Campbell, John Jenkins, if that's happening, it makes the stress on the quarterback even worse when it comes to dealing with the likes of a Kyle Hamilton. right? Because not only do I have to worry about where this demon is at on the field at all times, and he could be anywhere, I also got to worry about the pocket coming to my lap. I mean, it sucks. It sucks. For opposing quarterbacks, that is, right? So, like we mentioned before, even though Kyle Hamilton had a down year last season in terms of like statistics and things like that, and for the past couple of seasons, his stats have been going down. It doesn't necessarily mean that Kyle Hamilton, I would say, lacked value. Let me go continue with this article here. The problem was that his splash production declined. He went from 4 picks in 2023, 1 in 24, and none in 25. Like we mentioned, his sacks fell as well, and his passes defense fell too over the past couple of seasons. So the goal under Jesse Minter should be to preserve Hamilton's versatility while giving that versatility a clearer purpose. And it goes on to say, it actually gets into some specifics here. And here's what I found interesting. The two high shell and late rotations. Like I was just telling Asmodeus, like looking one way, having 2 high safeties pre-snap, and then moving those safeties around closer to when the ball is being snapped is going to confuse the hell out of a lot of the young quarterbacks that the Ravens play this season. And I think I'm going to have them in hell, to be honest with you. Jesse Minter's Chargers played zone coverage on 80.7% of their defensive snaps in 2025, the 5th highest rate in the NFL. They also presented split safety structures on 49.6% of snaps, which was the 4th most in the league. A split safety structure begins with 2 defenders stationed deep, like we just mentioned. From that initial picture, the defense can remain in cover 2 quarters or a split field coverage. Can also rotate after the snap, dropping one safety into the middle, the box, or an underneath zone. And this is where Kyle Hamilton comes into play because, like I said before, I get it. We have Jalen Hawkins. I get sometimes they'll want to run cover 3 and have 3 safeties on the field. But when they do kind of run their base like cover 2 looks, Kyle Hamilton can start in one place, start deep, and rotate in, or he can start in the box and rotate back out deep. So for the quarterback, the look, pre-snap that you're looking at in the read and where you might want to go with the football, it might not be there. It might not be there because right before the ball is snapped, the alignment changes. The entire picture changes. And that's what Kyle Hamilton does. Like literally last second, Kyle Hamilton's doing something different. Now you got to improvise right before you snap the ball. Play clock's running out. You got 3 seconds. With 3 seconds left on the play clock, what do you think these young quarterbacks are going to do when they see Kyle Hamilton rotate in from the deep half of the field close to the box on 3rd and 8 in the bank? Fans are going crazy. Oh, shit, I got to worry about Kyle Hamilton now? Well, now they got single high safety. Doesn't even matter. Doesn't even matter. Because if the outside corners can even, if they can cover for 1.7 seconds, you're going to have somebody in your face. Whether that be Kyle Hamilton, whether that be Trey Hendrickson, whether that be Mike Green, hell, whether it might be Calais Campbell shoving a dude out of the way and getting those big bear paws up. There's just too many things to worry about. But getting back to Kyle Hamilton again. Like we mentioned, Kyle Hamilton, he can begin 12 to 15 yards deep beside Malachi Starks or another safety, Jalen Hawkins, then rotate into several different jobs. He can, okay, so here's where I think that Asmodeus may be right. And when I say Asmodeus may be right, I mean when his point that he made about Kyle Hamilton getting 5+ interceptions. I can see a lot of scenarios where pre-snap, you have a quarterback who is looking at the Ravens defense, and yeah, maybe Kyle Hamilton is out deep. Let me actually pull this up on screen. Let me pull this up on screen for my video viewers here. You may have some quarterbacks pre-snap who are looking at Kyle Hamilton and Malachi Starks deep, and they might want their X receiver or their Y to run an in-breaking route, or just an inside route. And they may be dead set on that being their first read in their progression. But what Kyle Hamilton's going to be able to do by rotating late, right, or rotating post snap, he's going to be able to rob the middle of the field. He's going to be able to rob the middle of the field and potentially get some interceptions. I think he did a similar thing to Brock Purdy, if I'm not mistaken, on that Christmas game a couple of seasons ago. It was a similar thing there. But you guys get my point. But moving on here, the different jobs and him rotating around, robbing the middle of the field, obviously, like we just mentioned. Matching a tight end crossing underneath, right? We're really going to need Kyle Hamilton against some of these tight ends. I mean, tight ends they seem to get better and better every single year. Every single year, you seem to have this new tight end that breaks out, and before you know it, every team's got a pretty damn good tight end on their roster. So it's going to be more important than ever to try to contain those guys this year. Like we mentioned before, becoming the extra run defender, that's something that Kyle Hamilton does and does very well. Plugging the A gap, plugging the B gap. He does it with the best of them. He does it just like a linebacker would do. Just like a linebacker would do. By the way, super chat donation. This one's coming from Justin Hayes. Says Crash Out Boys, Roquan and K-Ham are going to remind a lot of people just how great they are. Appreciate that, man. Appreciate that, Justin Hayes. Yeah, I mean, Roquan, a lot of people are saying he was looking slimmer, right, at mini camp and OTAs and stuff like that. And listen, man, I hope he comes into this season. Well, I know he's going to come into the season in shape. He's a professional. But I need him to be more. He needs to be around the ball a lot more. Okay, he needs to be around the ball a lot more. I need to see him. Honestly, what I really want to see from Roquan Smith, just more tackles for loss. Can I see you shoot some gaps? Right? Can I see that? Right. I want to see some tackles for loss for Roquan Smith. Get some guys in the backfield. But thank you so much for the super chat donation, Justin. We got another one coming from Asmodeus. Asmodeus, appreciate you, brother. Not only coming through and chatting it up with me, but also supporting the channel. We appreciate that. As always, says, also, I cannot wait to get a Matabeeks jersey. Yeah, man. I mean, you talk about like low-key players who I would low-key like want to have their jersey. Matabike is one of them for sure. He's not your typical player that you would get a jersey for, D tackle, but I would definitely get his jersey. I've been very vocal about Kyle Hamilton, but that's also not a hot take. Hell, man. I mean, if Venga Ioane, man, if there's not going to be anybody who sings the praises of Venga Ioane, if he's actually like balling out this year, like we expect him to do, I will by buying his jersey. I will by buying his jersey. Will most people who see me, out in the grocery store or out walking the dog when I'm wearing that jersey, will they be able to pronounce the name? Absolutely not. They're going to have no idea who it is. But I don't care. Because his production will not go unnoticed. Not on this channel. Not on this channel. If he's balling out, I'm not gonna just give props to Zay Flowers and Bateman and Andrews and Lane and whoever's scoring all the touchdowns, Henry and all that. I'm not just gonna give props to them. We gotta make sure we give Venga his flowers actively during the season. Because it's easy to forget what an interior O lineman does. It is. But appreciate the super chat donation, brother. Appreciate that. All right. Getting back to what Kyle Hamilton can do in this Jesse Minter defense. Also rushing from the slot. So on some of these these corner blitzes and stuff like that, I think you'll see. I remember, what was it, against the Browns a couple of seasons ago? I think it was Deshaun Watson. You had Kyle Hamilton coming off of the edge, right? And I think Deshaun Watson tries to get it off really quick, but you guys know the play I'm talking about. Kyle Hamilton jumps up and bats it. It was kind of like a volleyball, block almost, and like the ball goes straight up. Hamilton catches it in stride and scores a touchdown. I think you could potentially see more of that this year as well. Even though, see, again, that's the thing. It's hard. It's really hard because Kyle Hamilton is so athletic. He's so athletic. A lot of corners wouldn't be able to have the length or athleticism to get up that high to tip that ball because the quarterback made the right read, right? I mean, if you're getting blitzed from one side, if Kyle Hamilton's coming straight at you, you want to throw to the side that Kyle Hamilton is blitzing from because that means there's a void in coverage somewhere behind him, right? So he had the right idea, but Kyle Hamilton just had better athleticism. He just had better athleticism, and I think you can see a lot more of that from Kyle Hamilton this year. Also, Other things like carrying vertical routes from inside receivers, we've seen Kyle Hamilton do that in the past as well. It's not something that I think is necessarily his strongest suit, but it is something that he can also do. Do I think that they'll ask him to do that a whole lot in this defense? I doubt it. I doubt it. I think they're going to really be relying on guys like Marlon Humphrey this year to kind of turn back the clocks a little bit and show why he still deserves to be regarded as one of the best nickel corners in this league. So let's go ahead and talk about simulated pressure. Simulated pressure without sacrificing coverage. This is the next thing that this article gets into. It says Minter's Chargers used 4-man pressures on 72% of their snaps and blitzed only 21% of the time, the third lowest blitz frequency in the league. Despite that low blitz rate, they finished with the NFL's 11th most sacks and tied for 7th in takeaways. Now, what does this mean, chat? Now, I know you guys remember the Wink Martindale days where the Ravens were blitz or bust. And a lot of times we lived and we died by that sword. I've always said that every single February, when you watch the Super Bowl, you notice a couple of things. The team that's normally winning and dominating the game, and sometimes even making the game a little bit boring, the team that's doing that is normally the team that can win with a 4-man rush. A team that can win without sending 5 or more players. And that's what Jesse Minter's defense was able to do. Okay. Using 4-man pressures on 72.6% of their snaps. That means for this Ravens team, we are going to be relying on 2 guys hand in the dirt. Again, you're probably gonna have Travis Jones lined up next to Nnamdi Madubuike. In certain instances, Calais Campbell, John Jenkins, that sort of thing. But 2 guys in the middle and then 2 guys on the outside. 2 DNs. I mean, you're looking at the Zion Youngs of the world. You're looking at the Tavius Robinsons, of course, Hendrickson and Mike Greens. I do have a lot of faith in that unit getting home. Let's just talk about Trey Hendrickson on one end, right? Mike Green on the other end. And then Madubuike and Travis Jones on the interior. The interior alone, I have a lot of faith in. And you're just not going to know where you need to slide your protection. You're not going to know where to allocate, that in-between guard, whether or not he should help out in trying to and block Trey Hendrickson or help out with Travis Jones. Everyone on the offensive line, when you go up against a 4-man rush against the Ravens, you're going to have your hands full. You're going to have your hands full. Okay. Goes on to say, Minter does not always want to overpower the protection with numbers. He wants to confuse the protection about which 4 defenders are coming. Hamilton can align outside the tackle or over the slot and threaten to rush. Baltimore could then execute one of several outcomes. You have Hamilton rushing while an edge defender drops. And again, this is what I said earlier, you could very well see happening. And I know we saw it happen in the Zach Orr defense last year, but I really do feel like there's a time and place for everything. And we didn't get, guys dropping out at the right times and things like that. And offenses kind of ate us up, right? But I could totally see a world where, you see Hamilton lining up he rolls down close next to Mike Green pre-snap, right? And you have Hamilton actually rushing and Mike Green dropping, So that quick slant over the middle or whatever it may be, you're going to have somebody there who's plugging that. So I could totally see that happening. Hamilton rushing while a linebacker replaces him in coverage. Totally could see that too. Totally could see that too. And this is why I need guys like Roquan Smith to look alive. Look alive. It's kind of like a gift and a curse when you have a guy like Kyle Hamilton on your team, because oftentimes on any given play, he could be doing your role, right? And now you kind of have to fill in for his role a little bit. And you'll see that a lot with Roquan Smith. He's going to have some opportunities for some turnovers. Roquan will. He's just got to capitalize on them. He's just got to capitalize on them. Okay. Shout out again to the live chat. Please be sure to like this video, subscribe to the channel if you are new. But got about 100 people watching live right now. Shout out to you guys. We've been going for about an hour already. Doesn't even feel like that. I'm having a great time with you guys. Having a great time. But again, like the video. Replay gang, shout out to you. Make sure you hype this video. Anybody watching on X, make sure you follow me on X. Okay, let's move on here. Let's move on. So more into Hamilton. More into Hamilton here. Hamilton showing pressure but dropping underneath. It's going to be another thing that he's going to be able to do in this Jesse Minter defense. Let me see. Oh, I really like this, what it said here. The offense might count 6 potential rushers. Only 4 attack the quarterback. The protection still has to account for all 6. So a lot of times you're going to see like, you know, it's going to be like a now you see me, now you don't sort of thing, where like teams are accounting for maybe an extra edge coming or something like that. Or again, like a Hamilton coming off the edge or something, and maybe he drops right back out into coverage. It's just going to be so much to process. So much to process pre-snap. You know, you have to be able to create that sort of chaos and entropy as a defensive coordinator, you know, and this is why they mentioned the defense has been making it very hard on the offense. They mentioned that in mini camp and OTAs. I think even some of the offensive players had mentioned like, yeah, I mean, the looks that you just get, the looks that you're getting with this Jesse Minter defense, like it's very, again, I mean, film study for teams playing the Ravens when it's Ravens week for all these other teams this year, it's going to be a daunting task. I'll say that. But that's how Hamilton can really affect plays without even recording a sack. You know, you have plays where a center slides towards him and the running back checks him, things like that. I mean, I think I posted a short video about that a couple of months ago, right before we hired Jesse Minter, on how he, you know, kind of plays those sort of those coverages where the center slides towards him and things like that, and the back checks up and will check him and pick him and things like that. A tackle widens his set. That creates a cleaner matchup for Trey Hendrickson and Nnamdi Madubuike. And this is, again, what I was saying, guys. Force multipliers. Force multipliers. If I had to pick the biggest force multiplier on defense, it would be Kyle Hamilton. It would be between Kyle Hamilton and Nnamdi Madubuike. Those are the biggest force multipliers on the Ravens defense, point blank, period. The 2 biggest force multipliers on the Ravens offense, Lamar Jackson and somebody on that offensive line, is yet to be seen who that's going to be yet. I'm hoping it's Vinga Ioane. But those are going to be the guys. Those are going to be the guys. Spicy Rice, I see you in the chat, brother. Appreciate you for coming through. Another member in the house. Let me see. Let me see here. Talking about Derwin James a little bit, right? And what he did in that Jesse Minter's defense. Derwin James provides, really, to me, the clearest like evidence of how the Ravens are going to play Kyle Hamilton this year under Jesse Minter. So during the 2024 season, Derwin James played 361 snaps in the slot, 281 snaps in the box, and 234 snaps at free safety. He generated 21 quarterback pressures, tied for the most among all defensive backs, and recorded a career-high 5.5 sacks. Derwin James then recorded a career-high 3 interceptions in 2025. That is significant because it demonstrates that Minter's system did not permanently turn James into a linebacker. In one season, his deployment produced pressure. The next, it produced interceptions. Okay, so already taking a versatile safety like Kyle Hamilton and already having the exact game plan, right? The exact game plan that you need for him. It's like, Jesse Minter is bringing in the perfect software for the hardware that is Kyle Hamilton, if that makes sense for all my my tech nerds out there. I hope that makes sense. Anywho, it's going to be the same model for Kyle Hamilton is basically what I'm saying. Not one permanent assignment. Mentions things that I found interesting as well. Like against spread passing teams, you can see Hamilton become a slot defender and middle field disruptor. I definitely agree with that. We've seen that again in the past. Again, I go back to that game against the 49ers a couple of seasons ago, back when we had a competent defensive coordinator and Mike McDonald. The last time we actually had somebody who knew how to use Kyle Hamilton. Against elite tight ends, he can become a matchup eraser unless he's going up against the 2023 Travis Kelce. In that case, it just doesn't matter what he does, right? Another thing here, Minter frequently played nickel and dime personnel in LA. The advantage of Hamilton is that Baltimore can place 5 or 6 DBs on the field without becoming physically small because he's 6'4" and 220. And like I said before, if you want to put 11 Kyle Hamiltons on the field, I will take them against any offense in this league, and they will still probably do pretty damn well. You know, just kind of joking there. Anywho's, but not really. That gives Minter a way to defend modern offenses that use tight ends and running backs as receiving weapons. Baltimore does not have to make a clean choice between run defense and pass defense. And that's what the versatility of Kyle Hamilton brings you. Man. So, again, I think that having Jesse Minter in this Kyle Hamilton, or having Kyle Hamilton in this Jesse Minter defense is going to pose a lot of problems for opposing offenses this year. Again, I want to go through one more time what quarterbacks exactly the Ravens play in the first couple of weeks in the season. I'll repeat, this very extremely highly complex defense is coming to a Daniel Jones near you, a Tyler Shuck near you, a Dak Prescott, Cam Ward, Michael Penix Jr., Shedeur Sanders, Joe Burrow, Josh Allen, Trevor Lawrence, Justin Herbert, Bryce Young, CJ Stroud, Baker Mayfield. It gets a little tougher on the back end of the season. I'm not going to lie. Okay, but I think, again, first 7 weeks, again, Daniel Jones, Tyler Shuck, Dak Prescott, take it for what it is, Cam Ward, Michael Penix Jr., Shedeur Sanders, right? It's the perfect ramping up period for Jesse Minter and the players to kind of get acclimated to this new Ravens defense. It's the perfect time period. Those first 7 weeks where you don't really play a whole lot of high octane quarterback talent. That's going to be the ramping up period. So by the time you get to week 7, Bengals, Joe Burrow, week 8, Bills, Josh Allen, we're going to be cooking by then. It's already going to be too late. And that's the message. That's the message, man, that I think that Kyle Hamilton is sending to the NFL. Hey, once we master this defense, once I master this defense, which I project, hey, maybe about 2 months into the season, we're all going to be on the same page. It's going to be scary for the rest of the league. It's going to be very, very scary for the rest of the league. I'll say that. All right, we're going to go ahead and move on here. Shout out to the live chat as well. I see Easy G in the live chat. What up, what up, what up? Appreciate y'all for coming through. God's Favorite's in here too. What up, God's Favorite? What up, what up? All right, so let's go ahead and get into the next piece of news that I wanted to touch on here. So we have an radio interview here from Calais Campbell, right? Calais Campbell was talking on a radio show. I'm not exactly sure which one. Oh, Sirius XM radio, but he was talking about what stands out about head coach Jesse Minter and the growth that he has seen from quarterback Lamar Jackson in Baltimore. Let's take a listen. Oh, can I hear it? Oh, here we go.
I feel like every head coach, you want to have some kind of connectability to your players, right? You want to be able to relate, and just get guys to really buy into your vision. And, I feel like he's done a really good job of just like being himself and just connecting with the guys and having a clear vision. I see the guys respond, which is really matters most, because you can come in with a plan, but if guys don't respond, it doesn't matter. But guys that really do respond, they really, brought it in. But, it's still early, right? We haven't really faced no adversity yet. So that's when you know how things really, when things, get real and stuff gets tough, that's when you really get to see, how the connectivity really matters. And so I'm looking forward to that, because everybody goes through adversity. We're going to go through it. But I think we're going to be battle tested and ready for it. And I think Coach Minter is just he's a great guy. He's genuine. He's authentic. He loves the game. He's a football junkie, and I'm happy that I get to go out there and compete for him.
Your quarterback in Lamar Jackson, 2-time MVP. I'm just curious if you've noticed anything different with him in some of that growth that you might have observed since you've been back in Baltimore?
We haven't had any like real deep conversations yet, just, the hellos and but seeing him around the locker room, seeing him, obviously even his stature, he just, like same with Matabike, he's more grown. He's a grown man, he's always a grown man, but you kind of get that, like, get closer to, 28, 30, that range, and you start seeing a different kind of maturity. And so with Lamar, like you can see it. Even when he breaks down the huddle, the stuff he says, you can tell he's just so much more mature and developed. He was always, wise beyond his years, when he was younger. But like just seeing, in a few years, like the growth and just the development and just the natural evolution of life, man, he's right where he needs to be. He's going to continue to get better, just as a leader, and continue to get better as the person that, we look to, in the biggest moments. I think he's the guy that's going to lead us to where we want to go.
All right. So you heard there Calais Campbell speaking on Lamar Jackson, saying that that's the guy. He's the guy that's going to lead us to where we want to go. And the main thing that I took from this is that he talked about Lamar Jackson's maturity. That's right, Lamar Jackson's maturity. And this is something that has been talked about in the past as maybe a potential issue of Lamar Jackson. So what I mean by that is, how he would carry himself on the field and how his moods and his kind of, emotions would permeate through the rest of the roster in real time. A lot of times you saw Lamar Jackson super frustrated, throwing the helmet on the sidelines and really, upset on the sideline, things like that. I feel like we didn't see a whole lot of that last year. At least not towards the end of last year. I think Lamar Jackson is, of course, going into year 9. One of the things that we should probably start giving him more credit for, in my opinion, is the growth that he has mentally, and emotionally, right? Because that is what's going to, especially in some big moments, reel this team in. We talked a lot last week about how guys like Jacoby Lane, guys like Elijah Surratt, hell, Hibner, Cuevas, all these young guys on the squad that the Ravens will be relying on this year. Hell, even Avenga Ioane, even though he's supposed to be wise beyond his years and things like that. But all the young guys that are going to be looking up to Lamar when the going gets tough in the biggest moments, they go as he goes. So if he's like level-headed and he's able to reel guys in when things are getting tough, I think you'll see less of those like kind of anxiety-induced mistakes that you would get from younger players typically. And that's what's going to be on Lamar Jackson's plate this year, because we know Lamar Jackson is not really that much of a vocal leader. He's not that much of a vocal leader. He'd much rather lead by example with his play on the field, which is fine. But definitely, I think when the going gets rough this season, and this is also on the coaches too. The coaches are also going to have to be able to reel in the players when there's high pressure moments and things like that. But as the quarterback of the team, I love Calais Campbell, being the elder statesman on the team, saying that, hey, look, his maturity is definitely, it's grown. Means a lot. Again, and we're going to need that, right? You're going to need that going into year 1 of Jesse Minter, because here's the thing. Jesse Minter, this is his first year as a head coach. He's going to need some help too. He's going to need some help kind of leading this team. And I think Lamar Jackson going into year 9, again, it is a little bit on him to make sure that he can kind of be that voice, at least when need be. I'm not saying he has to be a rah-rah guy, right? But again, when it calls for Lamar Jackson being a leader and showing that maturity, like putting on, like being stoic in moments where it requires you to really be locked in, that will permeate throughout the rest of the team in the biggest of moments. And with how young some of this offense is, we're going to need that. Okay, we're going to need that. Lamar knew Harbs was about to sell the game in real time. Yeah, I mean, yeah. Again, you guys remember when those Reddit posts leaked last year? And they said like half the locker room is like out on Harbaugh and things like that. And lo and behold, a couple of months later, Harbaugh gets fired. And then you got guys going on podcasts and, like literally like the Ravens podcast and wherever podcast, and they're just basically all saying like, yeah, the coaching last year, in so many words, they're saying, yeah, coaching last year wasn't the greatest, right? We weren't put in the right position, but now we are, So it'll be interesting. Again, can't wait for the season. It'll be interesting to see what that looks like on Sundays. Again, guys, be sure to leave a like, a thumbs up on this video. Would appreciate that. Okay. What else did I want to get into here on this episode of the show? I think I had some other. Let me see. So we got into Bateman before. Oh yeah. I'd be remiss if I didn't bring this up. I would be remiss if I did not talk about this. Okay. So this was some news that dropped on my timeline earlier today. Not news, by the way, not news. It was a dumbass rumor. It says Eagles have been mentioned as a team that could pursue Lamar Jackson in the next offseason if they have an average year, per CBS Sports. And I believe, don't quote me, but I believe that this mentioning of the Eagles being a team that could pursue Ravens Lamar Jackson, this mentioning was coming from one Jason Lockenfora. What up, Afia? Yes, we still here. We still rocking. And you know what, guys? I just don't understand, and I never will. I've never understood why teams think that the Ravens would ever get rid of Lamar Jackson in a league where quarterback talent is everything. Well, not everything, but it's a pretty good piece of the pie in terms of like important pieces you need on a team, like cornerstones. Lamar Jackson, and I've said in the past, guys, I know, like, okay, well, weighing all the Ravens options, what could happen? I know we've had those very talks on the same channel. But if you're telling me you believe that Eric DeCosta would take a call from Howie Roseman and send him for whatever price, a 2-time should be 3-time MVP, a 3-time first-team All-Pro quarterback, right? A dual-threat dynamic quarterback who just seems to get better and better as time goes. If you think that EDC would even entertain that from the Philadelphia Eagles, then I got a beachfront property to sell you in Nebraska. That's what I got for you. Because you couldn't be any dumber. And Jason Lockenfora, I don't know where he's, what makes him think that this would even be an option for the Ravens. Just straight up hitting the reset button on the franchise. Like, do you really think, and another thing, define what an average year is for the Ravens. Can somebody please do that for me in the chat? What is an average year for the Ravens this season? Within the context of this season, what would be considered an average season? I think to me, an average season would be anything less than a divisional round appearance would be an average season. Average. Anything less than a divisional round appearance will be average. And if the Ravens do make the divisional round of the playoffs, which is very possible, why would they ever move off Lamar Jackson? Like, make that make sense. Make that make sense. 12 wins would be an average season. I wouldn't necessarily say that's average. 12-5. I wouldn't say that's necessarily average. Again, I just think in terms of like the heights that the Ravens can reach, if they were to make the divisional round and lose that game, I think it's an average season. For a lot of teams, that's not an average season. That's a very, very successful season. But for the Ravens, in the context of the Ravens, that would be average to me. No, we're usually out second round. That's what I'm saying. On average, we're usually out second round. And that's what I mean. That's what I mean. On average, we're usually kicked out second round, divisional round. That's a tough one for us. It's a doozy. God's favorite says, but we're going 20-0, so what I'm saying, it don't even really matter. It really don't even matter. Tanja Bowman says, if Lamar is healthy, we won't have an average season. We have never gotten blown out in any game, I don't think. Yeah, no, we haven't. Outside of that Eagles game, season before last, regular season, I believe 4:00 game, we kind of got blown out. Had a garbage time touchdown that didn't make it look as bad, but we lost by like multiple possessions. But that was the only time I could really think of that the Ravens were blown out, so to say. I mean, Titans in 2019, right? But outside of that, I mean, blown out? Nah. With Lamar? Nah. Nope. So, but yeah, that was it for that. These rumors that Lamar Jackson could potentially be pursued by the Eagles. Just nonsense. Just nonsense. A bunch of malarkey. I saw a report here. Giants tight end Isaiah Likely has consistently been Jackson Dart's favorite target in their spring practices. Likely could put up huge numbers in his first year with the team. And you know what, man? I'm rooting for Likely. I'm rooting for Likely because I mean, I love him as a player. I think he's phenomenal on the field. He did a lot for Lamar Jackson in his day with the Ravens. And I think it'll really be a wake-up call for Eric DeCosta. Right? It'll be a wake-up call for EDC to say, like, hey, like, you should have just paid Isaiah Likely what he wanted. Because I don't even think we would honestly be having conversations about, oh, what veteran wide receiver do the Ravens need to bring in if we had Isaiah Likely still a Raven. Because then that would be 3 pass catchers that what you're getting from. Zay Flowers, Mark Andrews, however you feel about him, but in the regular season, he's solid, and Isaiah Likely. But no, we didn't want to pay Isaiah Likely, so we decided to pay Mark, and Likely walked. Is what it is, though. Is what it is. Is what it is. Quoney says, I'm rooting for him as well. Likely over there balling out, and I knew he would. And yeah, he's perfect for Jackson Dart. He's perfect for Jackson Dart. Because Jackson Dart is the type of quarterback who will like to extend the play. And Isaiah Likely's going to be like, bro, it's going to be just like the Lamar Jackson days for Likely. Likely's going to be at his spots where Jackson Dart should roll out and throw to, scramble out and throw to, before Jackson Dart even notices he's there. Because Isaiah Likely's going to be like, this is what I'm used to. Likely's going to be like, I mean, I came into the league. This is all I know is a scrambling quarterback who is going to keep the play alive. So let me make sure I find a soft spot in the zone and show him my numbers so he can get me the ball. That's all he knows. That's all Likely knows. So Jackson Dart, eat your heart out, man, because you're going to have a great time throwing the ball to Isaiah Likely. For sure. Antonio Williams pushing back on my Eagles blowout takes is not true. Tuck missed 2 field goals in that Eagles game we could have won. I thought it was 3, honestly. I thought it was 3. It was ugly. It was ugly. It was ugly. But we did lose by it was a pretty good margin by the time it was all said and done. Let me see. Clutch plays for Likely, but it is what it is. We wouldn't be having this conversation. Yeah, you're right. PRP hashtag replay gang. Cameron giving the shout out to the replay gang. Big shout out to the replay gang. Big shout out to the replay gang. Let's do some questions, guys. Let's do some questions. Questions about anything in the live chat. Questions about anything in the live chat. Ask Sutton time, right? To end the show. I'll probably start doing these at the end of these quiet storms, like, a little live chat questionnaire. You can ask me anything about anything. It can be about Ravens football. It can be about sports, other sports. It could be about anything. It could be about movies, TV shows, video games, life. I don't care. Anything. Hobbies, whatever. Anything. Ask me anything here. Live chat questionnaire time. Asmodia says the question is, will Dart have CTE at the end of the season? I mean, it's a good question, man. I mean, if he keeps diving headfirst into, 260-pound linebackers, then, probably he probably will get that good old CTE. I mean, he's just a bro. He's like a bro quarterback. He's like, yeah, I don't care. I'm just gonna go head first. He's a meathead. He's a meathead. Him and Cam Scatterboo. They're both meatheads. So what can you really expect, right? What can you really expect? But if I'm John Harbaugh, I'm having a sit-down meeting, one-on-one or one-on-two with Jackson Dart and Cam Scatterboo with film from last season of them going head first into these grown men in the NFL. It's like, hey, look, if you want to be around a long time in this league, you can't do that. Can't do that. That would be my first order of business if I was John Harbaugh. My first order of business. Dylan says, don't ever mention Jackson Dart and Lamar Jackson in the same sentence again. So Dylan, I was not comparing Jackson Dart to Lamar Jackson in the sense that they are the same caliber of player. I was comparing Jackson Dart to Lamar Jackson in the sense that they are a similar, not even the same, similar type of player in terms of play style. And what I mean by that is extending plays. They're both good at extending plays. That's what I meant. And we know that Isaiah Likely is good at making himself available to a quarterback who extends plays. So that's what I meant, Dylan. Glazing Likely? Not really. Yeah, losing Isaiah Likely was crazy, bro. Ismodia says, pineapples on pizza? Absolutely not. I think not. Pineapples do not deserve anywhere near a pizza. Not deserve. They don't deserve to be anywhere near a pizza. I don't understand why people would put a sweet fruit, like a very sweet and tart fruit at that, onto cheese and bread. It makes zero sense to me. Okay, it makes zero sense. I mean, I feel like if you're gonna put pineapples on pizza, you might as well start putting grapes on pizza and strawberries, and you know what I mean? Like you might as well just go the whole 9 yards, right? Raspberries and blueberries and whatnot. Pineapple on pizza never been a nope. Absolutely not. I'll pass. Dylan says, why are you addicted to Bateman? I hate Bateman because he didn't sign my football when I asked him 2 years ago, so it's personal. I'm sorry that happened. Sounds pretty traumatic. I mean, but there's no reason to be acting like Syndrome from The Incredibles about it, right? You know what I mean? But I'm not addicted to Bateman, man. I just think that Bateman, he's a damn good player who, again, like I always mention, Dylan, he can do it all. He does it all. You can't name me one thing that Rashad Bateman can't do. You can't name me one negative thing about Rashad Bateman's game that you can't also say about everybody else's game. Everybody drops passes from here, from here and then. Oh, he gives up on routes. I'm yet to see more than 3 reps, 3 to 4 plays throughout his whole career where it was obvious that he just said F it on a route early. So again, I don't understand the Bateman hate. I just don't. He's playing in an offense that's run first with a quarterback that is more of a scrambling backyard football type, and that's not what necessarily suits Bateman, but he has adapted over the years in order to be that type of receiver that can work with Lamar Jackson in his play style. So again, I don't understand the Bate hate. And again, last year, offensive line god awful. So there was just the deck has been stacked against Rashad Bateman in a lot of different ways. And I think he deserves more grace, man. I mean, I think in this Declan Doyle-led offense, you're going to see a resurgence of Rashad Bateman. I do. But no, I'm not addicted to Rashad Bateman. What's up, Thomas Bush? Appreciate you for coming through. Personally love pineapple anchovies pizza. Asmodeus, come on. Pineapples is one thing, but anchovies is I used to work in a pizza shop, and I used to hate having to make pizzas that had anchovies on it. You just have to get them out of this bucket that we had. You pulled it out from under the freezer because nobody ever really wanted them. You know, you'd have that one or two customers a day who wanted them, and they're all slimy and whatnot. I was like, I'm good. I'm good on anchovies too. Good on anchovies. Thomas says, also, you'll probably say yes, but did you hear the rumors of Lamar Jackson being traded? Obviously, I don't think that will happen, but they said that Lamar might go to the Eagles. Yeah, we just got done talking about that, Thomas, and I said that that is an asinine peak June take from Jason Lockenford, because I believe that is where it came from. Because, you know, you don't just trade franchise quarterbacks, future Hall of Fame quarterbacks in their prime like they grow on trees, because they don't. They don't. Okay? They don't. So, Afia says she had a childhood friend who only ate anchovies on the pizza. Yuck. Yeah, it's not good. Not good. Would I survive a liminal horror? I think so. I'm pretty good at our liminal horror games. Listen, guys, if you guys don't watch Sudden Reactions, make sure you follow the Sudden Reactions YouTube channel. Whenever we do episodes over there, we do this Liminal Olympics game. It's a lot of fun. Make sure you check it out. We also talk about all sorts of stuff over on Sudden Reactions. All sorts of stuff. Everything basically outside of sports, and sometimes sports when it's necessary. Okay. All right. As a chef, you have to try everything at least once. Eclectic Bistro Chef is in the house. What's going on? What's going on? Pineapples, green peppers. I like green peppers on pizza. I like green peppers on pizza. Messi just scored the first goal for Argentina. Damn, I'm missing the game. Man, I wanted to see Messi do that too. Make sure I get this game on. Let me see. Jeff Zarebek says Ravens will extend Lamar. Yeah, I mean, not happening. Again, with the Lamar Jackson contract, it just, again, it doesn't make sense for either party, I think, to try to rush into a deal now. I think if you're the Ravens, you want to wait because you want to see just how healthy Lamar Jackson is. Right? And it may sound cynical, right? But from the Ravens standpoint, from a business standpoint, they probably want to go into this year and see, you know, okay, how is that hamstring? Is it all the way back, or are you still looking a little bit hesitant to pull the trigger like you were last year? Because if so, then we probably need to, you know what I mean? We'll bring that to the negotiation table. And if you're Lamar, you're like, I'm not going to sign an extension right now because the Ravens are coming off of a down year, because I was hurt and, you know, the coach wasn't doing his thing. And you guys are going to try to lowball me for that. So no, I'd rather wait and see how this new offense looks. And with this new head coach, and if I go off this season and get another MVP, which you guys know is on the table, I'm going to ask for way more money than I'm asking for right now. And oh, by the way, I also want all these other guys. I want CJ Stroud to get paid first. I want Jaden Daniels to get paid first. I want Bryce Young to get paid first. I want all those young guys to get paid before me, because I'm the big fish here. When it's my turn, I want to top everything that they got. I'll be damned if I let Jaden Daniels or Caleb Williams or Bryce Young or CJ Stroud make $1 million more than me. I'll be damned. That's what Lamar Jackson is saying about the situation. At least that's what I'm thinking he's saying. Dylan Bauer says, what NBA team are you a fan of? I'm a Lakers fan. So growing up, I was a Philly fan. I was a 76ers fan because of Allen Iverson. I just loved his game. And I've been a Philly fan since then. Recently moved out to Houston, Texas, and I have kind of adopted the Houston Rockets. I love what they got going on. You know, KD, hometown guy, you know, DMV, he's out here in Houston. So I've been rooting for him on that team. And They've got a couple other really good players too. I love Alperen Şengün's game, although I think it needs some development. And then I love Eamon Thompson's game, which also needs some development too. They've got some good pieces there in Houston. The Sixers, man, I've thought that they need to blow it up with Embiid for years now. Trusting the process with Embiid, that whole thing has kind of gone stale, to be honest with you. So, yeah, my basketball teams are kind of in purgatory right now. Dylan says, I met Zay though, and Zay signed my football, and he talked to me for like 30 minutes. He took me in a room at a camp and gave me pictures and signed a football for me. That's dope. Shout out to Zay, man. Shout out to Zay Flowers. Let me see. All right. I think that was all the questions here in the chat. All right, guys. Listen, I'm going to go ahead and wrap the stream here so I can go ahead and watch some of this World Cup game, right? Real quick, for tomorrow, we will have a special guest on the show. It's going to be an enemy. It's going to be an enemy of the show, but a friend of the show. A frenemy, if you will. Either way, it should be a lot of fun. Make sure you stay tuned in, locked into the Purple Rain Podcast YouTube channel, where we cover all things Baltimore Ravens every doggone day. And other sports, too. Not just the Ravens, not just football. Other sports, there's been MMA content. You got Alex giving out his World Cup parlays. If you want a parlay, or maybe some of you guys took them. We mentioned some on last night's episode of the main pod, the PRP. So check that out. Lots of cool things coming here at PRP. Please be sure before you get out of here, like the video, sub to the channel as well. Replay Gang members, I love you. Hype the video. Love y'all. Stay positive. Test negative. Never, ever forget to call God. And most importantly, may purple rain.